Hey guys, Rick here and welcome to the first ever Q&A session. I've been looking forward to this. I just want to say thanks a lot to you guys on my Facebook fan page that left questions for me. There were plenty of questions there, but I'm just going to choose 4 questions from that. I'm going to kind of stick to that kind of number of questions every Q&A session because I don't want to babble on too much. I want to keep it nice and straightforward for you. Okay, let's get cracking with the first question. So the first question that I'm going to deal with is probably one that a lot of you guys are wondering about. The first question is from Nick, and he asks, how did you get so shredded? What kind of workouts do you do? How often, and what is your diet? I know it's irrelevant to your playing, but watching your videos from a few years ago is a complete physical difference. Also a studio rundown, rig rundown will be pretty nice, being the guitar nerd I am. We'll get to the rig rundown, another question, I'll deal with that another time. I think probably for a lot of you guys, I explain what I've been up to. A lot of you long-time guys will know that prior to May last year, I was a pretty hefty guy, very overweight, very unhealthy. I was eating a lot of crap food, drinking a lot, and just not exercising at all. So I looked pretty shocking. Here's a picture of me back in May 2012. So this is just to give you an idea of how I used to look. So May 2012, take a good look at it. Yeah, not pleasant, I know. And bam, take a look at this one. This is from yesterday. Hopefully you can notice that I look a little bit different. So yeah, bit of a transformation there. It's been about 14 months so far, 14, 15 months. I spent the first few months getting rid of the fat, and then, well, it was about 4 months. And then September last year, I started to hit the gym, hit it pretty big style. Really enjoy it. It's just great. I mean, the health benefits are obvious, but the mental benefits are just unbelievable. It's fantastic. I'm just not the same person I was. Everything, the way that I look at life now is a lot more positive, and I look forward to getting up every day, which is amazing. So yeah, I will actually go into detail about the diet and everything else that I've done, workouts and stuff, on my website. So, because it's far too long to talk about in this video, but I just wanted to show you guys, some of you guys, what I've been up to in the past 14 months. So hopefully now you know. So keep checking my website. I'll probably do a transformation video at some point, but not just yet. So I will answer your questions soon, but I'll let you know when all the details are up on my website so you can read everything there. Thanks for your question, Nick. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one. This is from Brandon Brown. Brandon is a fantastic guitar player. He's a young guitar player that's trying to raise money to get into Berkeley. I mean, he's been awarded a scholarship, but he's got to raise a lot of money so that he can do that. So make sure you check him out on YouTube. I'll leave a link in the description box below. So thanks, Brandon. So Brandon's question is, who would be the essential guitar players to listen to for developing a more fusion style? Depends, really. It depends, because there are a lot of different players that have little touches of fusion in their playing, or a sort of all-out fusion, if you get what I mean. The players that I tend to listen to that are more fusion-based players, I mean, for me, I'm much more of a rock player than a fusion player. But the players that I really like are guys like Wayne Krantz, amazing player, really inspiring to hear him play. So creative, and his timing is just unbelievable. So check him out. Of course, players like Frank Gambale. Frank Gambale is one of my biggest influences. In fact, his Modes, No More Mystery video, and Montelix and Speed Picking were the first videos I ever had, right back in the early days. And I used to watch those religiously over and over. So I've kind of been exposed to the fusion style right from day one, really. Well, the early days anyway. but yeah, you've got to check Frank Gambale out. Of course, Alan Holdsworth as well. The guy is just ridiculous. You've no doubt, if you're a guitar player, you will have heard of Alan Holdsworth, but you know, you've got to check Alan Holdsworth out. Another badass player, Jimmy Herring, just unbelievable feel, just badass. I can't put it any more succinctly than that. So those are some of the guys that I tend to listen to, so I hope that answers your question. So we're going to go to question number 3, and it is, hang on, bear with me, it is from Mephitis Ireland. I hope I pronounced that correctly. How many years did it take you to develop a pro level technique? Very, very difficult question. I mean, first you've got to ascertain what a pro level technique is. There's many players out there that are considered pro players, but you know, their technique varies. Some guys are phenomenal, some guys not so phenomenal. Not that it matters, but it's all, you know, it's down to you how far you want to take the technique, you know. For me, I don't really know. I have no idea, because I'm constantly trying to refine my technique and improve upon it. But I have to say, the shred stuff came pretty quickly. Only took me a couple of years, like 2.5 years, to really get the techniques down pretty well. In actual fact, here is a video of me playing. I've been playing for about, I don't know, 2.5 years at this point, so have a watch.
Here's the Greg Howe lick. Greg Howe!
Pretty shitty quality video, but that hopefully gave you an idea of the level of technique I had back in those early days. As I say, I used to practice all the time. That's all I did every single day. Just shred, shred, shred. But it was all about controlling what I was doing, controlling the technique and everything. But in terms of developing a pro level technique, it really does depend. It's a very, very hard question to answer. For me, I was more content. Well, I'm never content with my playing, but when I started to get a grasp of fingerstyle techniques, when I started to get a grasp of playing chordal, comping stuff, you know, a more well-rounded technique, that's when I guess I considered that my general technique had gone up a notch. So that's regarding mine. So thanks a lot for that question, and we've got time, I think, for one more. The one I'm going to answer is by Adam Camsell. He asks, do you feel you have benefited from an academic pursuit? Were you initially self-taught and then took lessons to further your progress? It's quite long, this. Do you think self-taught players are at a disadvantage? Sean Baxter recently visited my college and I spoke with him and he mentioned your name. I was really surprised to find out you studied with him. Such an incredible and awe-inspiring player. What age did you attend university? A lot of questions here, but I'm going to get to the self-taught question. I consider myself self-taught. I had a handful of lessons with Sean back in the mid-90s. I guess it must have been around 9-10 lessons, something like that. But maybe it was a bit more, maybe 14-15 lessons. But a lot of the time we focused on fusion elements, kind of like jazz approaches. He was the guy that taught me how to transition from the 1 chord to the 4 chord in like a blues and imply altered scales and outside notes and stuff like that. So he taught me a lot about sort of fusion playing, which I appreciate. I've always respected his playing, and I just think he's an amazing player. Great touch, great feel, great vibrato. Just what a great player. So thanks, Sean. I think the best players are generally a mixture of the two. I mean, it's great that some players are totally self-taught, but it really doesn't matter if you go and get help from somebody else. In fact, that's the sensible option. It's going to save you a lot of time. I wasted a lot of time, even though I picked it up quite quickly, I wasted a lot of time trying to suss things out on my own. It took ages when I could have, if I'd have had a decent teacher, I could have saved a ton of time. So for me, the best players are the guys that study things and figure things out for themselves, but with the help of somebody who knows what they're talking about. You know, that's where you get the benefit of both worlds. So that's my advice. If you can, go and study with someone that you really want to study with. It's really inspiring to do it, and you'll learn a load. So that answers that one. Yeah, Sean was fantastic. In fact, just going back to the question that Brandon asked about fusion players, I'm going to mention an album. Sean lent me an album which I consider to be one of the best fusion albums out there, and it's Frank Gambale and Alan Holdsworth and Truth in Shredding. Amazing album. I borrowed that off him, and every time I went down for a lesson I kind of pretended that I'd forgotten to put it in my bag. Sorry, Sean, but it's such an amazing album. If you can, check that album out. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question there. I think we're pretty much out of time. I want to thank all you guys for all of your questions. I'm going to ask for your questions for part 2, because I'm going to do this pretty regularly, because it's great fun to do. I love doing this kind of thing. So it's also something different from playing, you know, so you can pick my brains about various things. If you've asked various questions already that I haven't answered, please do put them down again on my Facebook fan page. If you're not a fan of my Facebook fan page, make sure you click the link in the description box below so you can get involved and get your questions answered. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this. I look forward to catching up with you guys for part 2 of Q&A. Take care.